Making headlines this hour, Chief Executive Officer of the Male City Group of Hospitals states public trust in the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital (IGMH) has increased significantly due to the National Cardiac Center. Ministry of Economic Development, Transport and Trade announces that more than 12,000 applicants submitted through the business portal remains incomplete, prompting a 14-day deadline for applicants to finalize their submission. Fenaka's Managing Director states irreversible damage has been inflicted upon Fenaka Corporation due to procurement-related failures under its previous management.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Mariam Shaushat. Chief Executive Officer of the Male City Group of Hospitals, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim, says public confidence in the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital (IGMH) has increased significantly following the establishment of the National Cardiac Center. Speaking at a ceremony marking the center's 10th anniversary, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim said the National Cardiac Center has become one of the most successful and specialized facilities operating under the Male City Group of Hospitals. He said the center has set a benchmark in the delivery of specialized healthcare services, adding that continued improvements in the quality of care have strengthened public trust in IGMH. Chief Executive Officer of the Male City Group of Hospitals, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim, said the establishment of the center has significantly improved cardiovascular services in the Maldives, allowing patients to receive treatment for heart conditions within the country instead of traveling overseas. He added that the National Cardiac Center has made significant progress over the past decade and continues to pursue important goals for the future. He also said the center plays a vital role in reducing the number of patients seeking cardiac treatment abroad while helping to develop skilled local healthcare professionals. Highlighting ongoing developments, the CEO said services at the Cath Lab in Addu City, which began operating in February, are progressing successfully. He revealed that Addu Equatorial Hospital has so far carried out 38 angiograms, 20 angioplasties, 1 carotid artery angiography, 1 pacemaker implantation and 1 automated implantable cardioverter defibrillator or AICD implantation. The CEO said President Dr. Muhammad Muizzu has instructed the expansion of treatment services for heart disease, neurological disorders and cancer. He added that Cath Lab services, which had previously been suspended after the facility remained unused due to operational issues, resumed under the current administration. Ministry of Economic Development, Transport and Trade announces that more than 12,000 applications submitted through the business portal remain incomplete and has given applicants 14 days to finalize their submissions. The ministry said many of the applications are still missing required procedural steps or have outstanding fee payments. Speaking on a PSM News program, Strategy and Registry Service Consultant at the Ministry of Economic Development, Transport and Trade, Yusuf Naim, said there are currently 12,500 incomplete applications pending in the business portal. The ministry's directive published in the Government Gazette on 2nd July states that applicants have until 2 p.m. of 16th July to complete the required procedures. Strategy and Registry Service Consultant at the Ministry of Economic Development, Transport and Trade, Yusuf Naim, said the ministry is providing this period to allow participants to complete the remaining stages of their applications. He added that once the deadline expires, completed applications will be processed while incomplete submissions will be cancelled from the portal. He warned that applicants whose reserved business names are cancelled may not be able to secure the same name when submitting a new application. He stressed that applicants who have reserved business names should complete their applications within the 14-day period to avoid losing those names. He also said new technological improvements to the business portal will make future application reviews more efficient. Applicants will receive nominations if any part of an application requires a correction, and applications that remain incomplete 3 days after notification will be cancelled automatically. The ministry said the new automated process is expected to reduce the backlog of applications and improve services provided to the public. The government intensifies efforts to strengthen cybersecurity and modernize the nation's digital infrastructure as the Maldives advances its Maldives 2.0 digital governance agenda. Speaking on the Trade Desk podcast, Minister of Homeland Security, Labour and Technology Ali Ihsan said strengthening cybersecurity is one of the government's highest priorities under its strategic roadmap. He said the ministry and its affiliated agencies are now ready to provide national-level cybersecurity services and assistance to stakeholders requiring support. He added that the government is committed to creating a secure digital environment, particularly for emerging financial technology services, including PayPal. National Security Advisor, retired Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Latif said cybersecurity has become a strategic necessity as countries continue to digitize public services. He said cybersecurity is no longer only a digital issue but has become a fundamental part of national governance, describing cyber resilience as an essential component of national security. Meanwhile, senior lecturer at Edith Cowan University's School of Science, Dr. Ahmad Ibrahim said strong legal frameworks are essential for building an effective national cybersecurity system. He said protecting people's information is becoming increasingly important in a more digital world and is essential for maintaining public trust. Dr. Ahmad Ibrahim added that cybersecurity initiatives cannot reach their full potential without legislation that gives the relevant authorities the legal powers needed to carry out their responsibilities. Meanwhile, Parliament is currently considering the Cybersecurity Bill and the Digital Identity Bill. The Cybersecurity Bill seeks to establish a comprehensive legal framework for cybersecurity, including licensing requirements for providers of specified cybersecurity services. Under the proposed legislation, violations would carry fines ranging from $3,242 to $32,425 The Digital Identity Bill aims to establish procedures for secure digital identity verification in online transactions involving government institutions and other entities. The government has also prioritized capacity building through cybersecurity training programs conducted both in the Maldives and overseas to ensure the country keeps pace with evolving global digital standards. The Maldives and Japan Association of Travel Agents discussed to increase the number of tourists visiting the Maldives from Japan. The discussions were held during a meeting between Ambassador of the Maldives to Japan, Ahmad Mahlouf, and the President of the Japan Association of Travel Agents, Kuniharu Ebina. Ambassador of the Maldives to Japan said the discussions served to further strengthen tourism relations between the Maldives and Japan. In a social media post, Ambassador Ahmad Mahlouf said the meeting focused on increasing the number of Japanese tourists visiting the Maldives and expanding the promotion of the destination within the Japanese market. He also stressed the importance of building strong partnerships between travel agents in the Maldives and Japan. Ambassador further expressed confidence that the engagement would further strengthen tourism cooperation between the two countries. The discussions form part of the government's efforts to diversify the Maldivian tourism sector. The government continues to implement measures to increase visitor arrivals from markets that currently contribute fewer tourists to the Maldives as part of its broader strategy to diversify source markets and support the continued growth of the tourism industry. Managing Director of Fenaka Corporation, Mohammad Afif Hussain, says irreversible damage was caused to the corporation due to procurement-related failures under its previous management. Speaking in an interview with PSM News, Mohammad Afif Hussain said the failures created systematic operational difficulties as previous management teams did not exercise adequate oversight when procuring essential supplies for the corporation. He said the utility company is now facing growing financial burdens and recurring mechanical failures, including the costly need to repeatedly repair the same infrastructure. The Managing Director of Fenaco Corporation, Mohammad Afif, said the quality of materials purchased for operational requirements was so poor that the corporation's own engineers raised concerns directly with senior management. He added that instead of operating in a financially responsible manner, previous operations within Fenaco prioritized the personal interests of individuals and the agendas of certain external parties. Addressing alleged internal misconduct, the Managing Director said there were instances where documents were approved using the names of former employees in order to obtain funds. He noted that as Fenaco is an essential public utility provider, the use of substandard materials directly affects the quality of services delivered to the public. He said the corporation is now implementing the directives of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu to eliminate these vulnerabilities by introducing modern procurement procedures and ensuring the timely availability of essential spare parts. The Maldives Industrial Fisheries Company MIFCO pays $733,000 to fishermen for fish purchased during June. According to statistics from MIFCO, a total of 517 fishing vessels, including skipjack and yellowfin tuna fishing boats, supplied fish to the company during the month. Payments totaling $90,633 were made to these vessels. MIFCO said it purchased a total of 568 tons of fish in June. Of this, 484.4 tons were skipjack tuna, for which the company paid $604,858. The catch was supplied by 196 fishing vessels. A total of 109 vessels that delivered yellowfin tuna weighing more than 10 kilograms received $21,494. Meanwhile, 212 vessels that supplied yellowfin tuna weighing more than 15 kilograms were paid $108,564. Paying for delivering their catch remains a key policy of the administration of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu. The government has also prioritized ensuring fishermen receive fair prices for their catch while strengthening and streamlining payment arrangements. The government said it is continuing to implement a range of measures to address challenges facing the fisheries sector. As part of those efforts, MIFCO has increased the purchase price paid to fishermen to $1.30 per kilogram. MIFCO currently purchases 10 kilogram and 15 kilogram grade tuna at $1.30 per kilogram, while tuna weighing more than 15 kilograms is purchased at $1.62 per kilogram. Iranian passengers welcome the resumption of direct flights between Iran and the United Arab Emirates after a suspension that disrupted family visits, business trips and travel plans for months.
Footage shows passengers waiting inside Tehran's Imam Khomeini International Airport, checking in at airline counters and watching departure screens listing flights to Dubai. Ramin Khashefazar, CEO of Imam Khomeini Airport City, announced on June 28 that round-trip flights between Tehran and Dubai would resume. Emirati media reported the following day that a Fly Sebahran aircraft from Tehran's Imam Khomeini International Airport had landed at Dubai Airport, marking the route's first arrival in months. Air traffic between the two countries was suspended during the war that began with US and Israeli strikes on Iran on the February 28, followed by Iranian retaliatory strikes across the region. A temporary ceasefire was announced on April 8, before Washington and Tehran signed a memorandum of understanding on June 18th.
To celebrate the 250th anniversary of US independence, President Donald Trump recounts some of the country's milestones, bringing together war veterans and collection of historic flags for the hundreds gathered at the National Mall.
Trump honored several veterans and historical figures during his speech, which included tributes to Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Paris Davis, Vietnam veteran Lee Harvey Oswald, and Iranian veteran Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. Trump also acknowledged the 250th anniversary of US independence, saying, "Today marks the 250th anniversary of our nation, and I want to express my gratitude to the United States Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps for their tireless service Pearl Harbor survivor Ken Schubring and D-Day veteran Lieutenant Arthur Ross, each saluting flags usually seen inside museums.
With us tonight to celebrate this forward march of freedom is another Medal of Honor recipient, Colonel Paris Davis, whose courage won eternal glory in Vietnam. He helped lead a surprise attack on 100 enemy combatants. They said he was finished. His whole group was finished. And despite multiple life-threatening wounds, saved the lives of his fellow soldiers. And this evening he stands to salute the only flag of its kind, the one that was draped over the casket of President Abraham Lincoln in Independence Hall. Thank you very much. Great. He looks better than I do.
Among those praised were the Artemis II crew, including Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen, who walked with his American teammates on stage. In his speech, the president took a stab at communism, saying, quote, "We don't want communists in our country," unquote. Trump also said the US had survived empires, vast kingdoms, mighty nations, and terrible tyrants since its inception, and ventured the country would continue.
The head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Ahmad Wahidi, attends a funeral ceremony for the late Iranian Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Wahidi made his first public appearance since his appointment when he joined a group of generals stood saluting in front of Khamenei's coffin. In a show of public devotion to the theocratic state and the revolutionary zeal, the Islamic Republic is staging a week of mass funeral processions for Khamenei, including taking his remains to Shia religious sites in neighboring Iraq. A ceasefire has suspended the 4-month-old war under an agreement with Washington that Iran's authorities say will ultimately bring huge economic benefits in line with what they described as a victory over a superpower. US President Donald Trump told the Axios news website that peace talks had been paused for a week for the events surrounding the funeral. Outgoing Prime Minister Keir Starmer says that deciding to resign was really tough. Starmer, who announced last month he would step down after 2 years in office, also said foreign and domestic policy cannot be separated as Britain faces an increasingly volatile world.
The economy was broken when we came in. It was the aftermath of Liz Truss. And we have turned that around and stabilised the economy to a point now where we're the fastest growing economy in the G7, where we've been able to stabilise even during a period of conflict in the Iran war. We're a leader on AI, etc. If you look at our public services, in particular the NHS, they were on their knees when we came in 2 years ago. Now we've picked them up, invested in our public services, and in recent weeks we've seen the biggest fall in NHS waiting lists in 17 years.
Starmer has faced criticism from opponents over the amount of time he has spent on foreign policy. Andy Burnham, a lawmaker widely expected to succeed Starmer, has pledged to focus on domestic priorities including living standards, housing, infrastructure and devolving more power to Britain's regions. Starmer has also defended the international focus of his premiership, saying Britain had restored its global standing. He cited support for Ukraine and participation in international coalitions among his key achievements. India's batting prodigy Vaibhav Suryavanshi becomes the youngest player to represent the country after receiving his maiden international cap ahead of 2020 international against England in Manchester, surpassing Sachin Tendulkar's long-standing record.
The left-hander was presented his cap by teammate Tilak Varma, before the start of the match, becoming India's 122nd men's T20 international and its youngest international cricketer at 15 years and 99 days. Indian captain Shreyas Iyer said Suryavanshi had earned his place in the squad and backed the teenager to cope with the demands of international cricket. On this special moment, Suryavanshi's coach Manish Ojha and his uncle Rajiv Suryavanshi extended their wishes to the rising cricketer. Suryavanshi's debut eclipses one of Indian cricket's most enduring milestones. Tendulkar was 16 when he made his international debut in a test match against Pakistan in Karachi in November 1989 before going on to become one of the game's greatest players. Widely regarded as one of India's brightest prospects, Suryavanshi earned his first senior call-up after a meteoric rise that began with a blistering 35-ball century in the Indian Premier League IPL last year. The teenager further enhanced his reputation in this year's IPL, finishing as the tournament's leading run scorer with a strike rate of more than 237 and setting a competition record by hitting 72 sixers. His performance prompted growing calls for a place in the national side, though selectors resisted fast-tracking him and waited until he turned 15 in March before naming him in India's squads for the T20 series in Ireland and England. Suryavanshi did not feature in either match against Ireland, remaining on the sidelines as India suffered a shock 2-0 series defeat. He was handed his opportunity against England in the second match of the 5-game series after the opener at Old Trafford ended without a result, leaving the contest at 0-0. Suryavanshi, opening after India elected to bat first, hit Jofra Archer and George Tong for a 6 each, and was stumped as he tried to charge Will Jacks down the ground, departing for 14 of 10 balls.
Thousands of miles from North America, where the World Cup is bringing together soccer fans from countries that are otherwise at odds, one of soccer's least heralded nations experiences its own moment of unity.
In a stadium in the ancient city of Sana'a, hundreds have turned out to watch a match between two teams from areas controlled by different factions in Yemen's 12-year-old civil war. Since May, a truce signed in 2022 has seemed firm enough to allow a resumption of the professional Yemeni National League for the first time since 2014. Photos were taken and pennants were exchanged between the captains of Wahda Sana'a, whose city is under the control of the Houthi, and Shab Hadramaut, whose province is controlled by a regional coalition and by separatists. The referee started the match. A Wahda Sana'a player grabbed his head in frustration at missing a chance, and fans in garish wigs and face paint whistled their dismay. It's a scene that many had despaired of seeing again after years of war that had made one of the world's poorest countries even poorer and left many in danger of starvation. Sports journalist Mohammad Al-Ghassami was just as enthusiastic. There are constant reminders of the cost of fighting across Sana'a. Sports facilities are badly damaged and unfit for use. But Tunisian Issam Chouali, one of Arab's world's most popular commentators, said the revival of Yemeni soccer marked a return not only to the sport but also to the pulse of life. Abu Ghalib believes the re-establishment of the National League will inspire young players and greatly benefit the national team. Nabih Nasser, the Houthi government's deputy sports and youth minister, sitting in an office decorated with trophies, has ambitious plans to develop sports and train young talent. He would like to build new facilities in all provinces, but money is short, and he hoped that the success of competitions such as the revived Soccer League will encourage the private sector to step in.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates. Have a good day. Goodbye.